Hello, everyone, and welcome to another tie-in comic video. We're going to be going over another tie-in comic for Sonic. This time, we're looking at the Team Sonic Racing one. It fits with Crossworlds coming out very soon. I figured, let's look at the Team Sonic Racing crossover comics. So, this comic was the first one published by IDW about video games. I made a mistake in my last one with Sonic Forces saying that IDW did them. They did not. That was purely done by Sega and then released on Twitter on their own. This one was done by IDW, so with the IDW team. And Team Sonic Racing, this comic I believe came out about 5 months before the game actually did. So we were really going, the freaking Sonic Racing Crossworlds comic hasn't even come out yet. So look at that. So this comic was written by Caleb Goellner. Never heard of him. So we know who to blame if this story isn't good. So let's kick it off, right? So I should mention, of course, this comic is canon to the game, right? This is a canon video game comic. The events of this comic happen during the events of the game. So let's kick it off. So we start off with Team Sonic and Team Dark racing on Planet Wisp. So we get a nice shot of, Dodonpaw, and, he's watching the race between Sonic and Shadow. So Tails says, oh my god, I can't believe that we're losing already. And Knuckles is like, well then how about we focus, and then we can win. He's like, Sonic and Shadow, they're off in their own little world and they're speed-type cars, but we gotta make sure we win. And then Knuckles is rammed into by Omega, who says, bring the pain protocols initiated. That's amazing. That's amazing. So Knuckles is like, I can take care of Omega, but you, with your Technique-type car, go after Rouge. So Tails mentions about slipstreams. Like every car has a slipstream, which is it's a mechanic in the video game, so I like that, putting the mechanic of the video game here. That's very nice. The Dodonpaw shows up in like a freaking hologram on like Tails' car, freaks Tails the hell out. Tails is like, what the hell? The Dodonpaw basically just says that oh yeah, your cars, you can do all sorts of things with your cars. Shadow bumps into Sonic and tells him to focus on me. And then he throws a wisp at Sonic. And Sonic's like, oh, not cool. I thought we were power-up pals. I love that. So then Knuckles bumps into Rouge. And by doing so, he actually instigates the boost from the game as well. And then Rouge is like, hey, thanks for the boost, buddy. And Tails like, don't worry, man. He's like, it's fine. I just discovered that they could do that too. It's fine. So Sonic is, he's musing about how he's like, he wasn't sure what to expect when he was invited to this race, but going head to head with Shadow and his team, it's way more fun than going up against. And then the freaking product of his ire shows up. It's Eggman. Eggman shows up, and Sonic's like, hey man, like I don't know what you were planning, but I am crossing the finish line first. And Eggman's like, no, I'm here to race as a special guest. And then Dodonpaw just shows up on like the big projector screen. He's like, yeah, why not, I guess. And here it is. We're gonna get to a problem I have with this story. Eggman's dialogue does not sound like stuff Eggman would say. Like, because his next line of dialogue is, well, I'm the coolest, and I'll prove it with my sweet ride. Like, this sounds like Boom Eggman than actual Eggman. Like, I know you're trying, because it's Team Sonic Racing, right? So we're not actually trying to be serious with anything, but still, the dialogue's not good, man. And we get more cases of bad dialogue later on. So, Eggman sees that, the two hedgehogs are right behind him. Oh my god. And the Dodonpaw gives him a little items, some little wisp items, And Sonic's like, what the hell? What? He's like, he almost wants Eggman to win, right? And Shadow's like, we still don't understand. Dadumpa's motives, so it's best to just observe. So, letting you, if you know the game, then, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Eggman, he gets like a wisp canister, and he's like, oh, I'm sure glad you wisps aren't holding a grudge for the time I corrupted your entire species. That's fun. So Eggman then uses the drill, the ivory lightning, and the magenta rhythm on Sonic and Shadow to put some distance between him. Rouge suggests that he's like, she's like, we all know this race is fake, so how about we all put our differences aside to get rid of our mutual robot making foe? And everyone's like, yeah. So they're all like, you know what, put competition aside, let's screw with Eggman for a bit. That's awesome. So Sonic and Tails do the slingshot move, right? Tails is like, we'll do a slingshot move. And then here comes another bad line of dialogue, which I don't like, which is Shadow, where he says, there's no reason we can't execute the same tactic, only better. I'm like, oh, that is... Oh, and then he starts it by saying guys. Shadow does not talk like that. And that's what I mean. That was the big problem for me with this comic. Is Shadow, like, dialogue for characters doesn't feel like stuff they say. Like the Eggman stuff, it feels like Boom Eggman. Shadow in this comic, he just feels like he's how he was in the 2010s when he wasn't seen a lot, where he's just like, oh yeah, he's the edgy Sonic rival, right? That's who he is. Like, that's Shadow is. Because all of his dialogue in this is about doing Sonic's a move, but better. And I'm like, what? Yes, he wants to prove he's the superior hedgehog, but you don't make that every line of dialogue of him. Next up, Sonic uses the Tails as his slipstream to boost ahead, and then they do the slingshot move. Shadow, follows him. They do the same thing. So then he and Shadow are now boosting towards Eggman. Sonic then asks if they ever talk about velocity too much. He's like, I don't want to annoy anyone, but it's important to stay on brand. And Shadow's like, just drive. That's a Shadow line. There you go. So Sonic and Shadow, they pass Eggman, and Eggman's like, what? That's cheating. You're teaming up. Tails looks like he's got a plan, right? Because he's going to make a call. And Rouge wonders, what's he up to? Right? And then Omega's response is just eliminate Eggman. And she's like, she forgot who she was talking to for a second. So then Tails calls for Amy and Vector, and they both show up. It's Amy and Vector. Isn't that fun? We get to see Team Rose and Team Vector from the game. So Team Rose is, of course, Amy, Omo, Chow, and Big. The worst team imaginable. And Big has a line here which says, teamwork, I'd rather Team Fish. I hate him. I hate him so much. And then we have Team Vector, which is, of course, Vector, Blaze, and Silver. And their dialogue is also not good. So Vector's is pretty good. He's just like, he just wants the Dadumpa's prize money. That's Vector. Blaze then says, monetary rewards are beneath a princess. I live to mete out justice. And then Silver's like, all I want is a peaceful tomorrow. Pussy. So Tails pretty much tells everyone, start slingshotting so we can all, move forward to Eggman, which is what they do. All, get wisps from the canisters, right? And then everyone surrounds Eggman. So now Eggman, you are completely surrounded by everyone. And he finally realizes what's going on, and he's like, I'm sure this will work out. Okay. Then we have, it's really beautifully drawn. I like how it looks, how it's presented, which is everyone activates their wisp with Eggman in the middle, and Eggman realizes he's gonna die. And he does. He explodes, and they call it a wisp-splode. Okay? And his response is to just say, I hate that hedgehog, but that doesn't work. Okay, but okay. So Sonic and Shadow race through the big exploding cloud, and the race is over, it seems. And both Sonic and Shadow are arguing, who won the race, and the Dadumpa's like, I wasn't really paying attention. He's like, but that explosion, it was beautiful, wasn't it? It was very beautiful and dangerous. And, Sonic and Shadow are like, I can't believe it. Eggman's happy, though, even though he got blown up. He's like, I may not have won the race, but I did ruin Sonic and Shadows. And he's like, if I had a team, I would have won. And Dadumpa's like, well, I look forward to seeing you compete in this race with a team. So there you go, leading to, boom, boom, Eggman, go get yourself a team, which will be Metal Sonic and Zavok. Of all people, I guess. Metal Sonic makes sense, but not Zavok. So Sonic's like, hey, Shadow, what do you say we do a rematch during my victory lap? And Shadow's like, you mean my victory lap? And then, god damn it, this comic ends on the worst line I've seen, which is Sonic says, time to leave you in my shadow, Shadow, which isn't bad. And then Shadow says, eat my ultimate life form dust. I want to smash my head against the wall. That is garbage. And then that's where the comic ends. We're done. That is the Team Sonic Racing comic. So yeah, it's a cute comic. It's cute. But my god, some of that dialogue is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. I'm thinking more specifically for Eggman and Shadow. They were written horribly. They were written horribly. Shadow's got a couple of lines in here where he can start to sound cool, but most of the time, god, he's awful, and he's written like 2010 Shadow. But for all that problem, we can't blame Ian this time, guys, because he didn't write this. This was Caleb Goliner, please, dude, never write Shadow or Eggman again. That was awful. Yeah. So there we go. That was the Team Sonic Racing comic. Overall, I think again, the idea is nice, right? This was meant to take place during the events of the game when they're on Planet Wisp. So the first race, essentially. I like that. Like how Rise of the Wisps takes place during Sonic Colors when you're in Sweet Mountain, right? I like when they try to do stuff like that to expand on parts in the game that probably wouldn't normally get expanded. I like that. And most of the characters were written well. I think Sonic was good, Knuckles was good, Tails was good, Rouge was good, Amy for the brief tiny seconds she was there. There was other bad dialogue in there from Silver, who was just I just want to have fun. Shut up. But the art's great. The art is up to the standard you would normally see in an IDW Sonic comic, so that's always fun, Adam Bryce Thomas did the cover and line art, so he is he's always there for the IDW stuff, so that works. So yeah, I don't know what much to say about it. I like also how Eggman uses the Wisps in the battle, right? We actually get to see the Wisps in the battle, and they do the whole thing where they take a game mechanic and they try to make it actually happen with the slipstream and the team boost and whatever. I like that. I like that. So yeah, that was fun. I think it's okay. I'm gonna give it maybe I want to say a 5 is what we're going with, because this really is, it's not much, really. It's not offensively bad, but this really is it's what it's meant to be, right? It's just promotional, being oh, go play the game when it comes out type thing, right? But I mean, even then, it still could have been good. It could still be good, but yeah, I think 5.5 we'll go with 5.5. That's probably what we're gonna go with. So yeah, there you go. That's the Team Sonic Racing comic. So with that, we're not done with the tie-in comics. There's one more for the games, and then you know what, actually there might be a couple more because of Sonic Racing Crossworlds. We'll probably read that comic too. So there we go. I hope you all had a good time with going through this comic with me. I love going through the comics with you guys. I plan to go through more comics with you guys eventually. I got an idea for how the Sonic media stuff's gonna go here. So right now, going through these tie-in comics, I think is a very nice way to ease us into the comic books with stuff that is, in part of the games, right? So there we go. That's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think if you guys have read the comic in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time.